about the shark raping the cow, I thought it was bullshit. But now that we know it's a rapist,
I also thought so too.
Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Movie Time. And today we have been looking at the movie called Sharkenstein.
Yeah.
It was released in year 2016 and was directed by Polonia. I think he was the guy who edited the stuff too, or?
Might be, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
He was one of the two brothers that produced it or something as well.
Oh yeah, the Polonia bros.
The famous Polonia bros.
Yeah, exactly. This movie, we're going to talk about the effects mostly, I think, because it's really...
It's what stands out the most, you could say.
Exactly. They have spared every penny on it. But first we will start to discuss the characters, and you know, it's not much to discuss actually, because I have never ever seen a movie like this where the characters have so little to do with the actual story.
And they're very unimportant, all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because the people that are introduced in the beginning aren't actually the main cast in that way. I mean, they are, but they're not in the final last characters, except for the girl. But we'll get back to that later. First of all, we must mention all the characters. So if we start with the girl's name, there's always a girl. Her name is Madge.
And she's basically the main character.
She's the main character, yeah. She sticks till the end, to say. And she is the nerdy girl, she is the hot girl, and she is the
bitch.
The bitch. Yeah. She is all those three characters.
But she might be a bitch because her friends are douchebags as well.
She is also a bit like the voice of reason. Like her two friends are very stupid, and she's the one saying, maybe we shouldn't do this. And they're like, hey, let's do it.
And she follows them.
Yeah, she follows them anyway.
So she's pretty stupid as well.
Yeah, at least she tries.
But she knows a lot of information. We'll probably get back to that later, but she's like ranting on the shark, what's it called? And the Frankenstein monster movies.
Yes.
And stuff like that, and she talks about reading books, and you know, that's a typical way of being a nerd. So she is all those three characters. And then we have Duke, and let's wait with Duke. We can take her two friends first, and it's Skip and it's Coop. There's not really much to say about these two guys. I don't really know, because if we take Skip to begin with, he is like in his 50s
at least.
Yeah, he looks like that, and he has his cap on the side.
Yeah, like a gangster rapper.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to look like a young kid, which makes it look even worse.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like talk and joke in a way that a kid would do, I would say.
Yeah, it seems like he's supposed to be, the character is supposed to be in his early 20s, but he is in his 50s. So
exactly.
So it doesn't mesh very well.
And it's like you, Adam, said that maybe he has like a midlife crisis.
It really seems like that, because he's acting like he's way below his age.
His wife just left him.
I don't know, it's weird how they did it, because he dresses like he wants to be some young gangster, but he has a Legend of Zelda cap, so that's a nerdy thing, so I don't really know what they're going for.
I have no idea either.
He
always has this stupid smile on his face, and I want to punch it.
Yeah, but that's just him being a bad actor.
Yeah.
And we will probably talk about that too.
Yeah.
And then the third guy, he's called Coop.
Yeah.
And he's the tech guy. Because
his special ability is that he has a cell phone.
Exactly. He's the tech guy because he owns a cell phone, and apparently he's the only one who does that.
He's the only one thing with a cell phone, so that's true.
And it's really interesting with the technology, because if we jump forward in the movie fast here for a short minute, the crazy scientist has a computer and it's like from the 50s or something.
Yeah.
so
It looks like some kind of computers used from like the age of Second World War.
So maybe this Coop guy has some groundbreaking technology that only he's aware of.
Who knows?
Yeah, but that's pretty much his characteristics. He doesn't have anything else. He's not funny and he's not like smarter than anyone else. He's just the tech guy because he owns a cell phone.
Both Coop and Skip are very forgettable because they're both very stupid.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, but the characters not being the main characters. Because these three are the main characters. That's what you're thinking of when the movie starts and the characters gets introduced. But then we have a last guy. It's called Duke, and he's the Coast Guard. He is the one who is reporting on all the issues. He's looking into the shark attacks, and he's trying to keep the people out of the water. He is the police, of course.
Basically.
So, and he's going to be the hero. This sad ending.
I must say that he is the best actor out of all of them.
He's the best actor, I would say.
Yeah, indeed.
Because when he talks, it doesn't really sound that weird, and it sounds natural when he speaks.
It sounds way more natural than all of the others.
Yeah, I guess it's always related to the next guy, but I think he's the most natural guy.
Yeah.
The dialogue in this movie is I think it's hard because they always try to make and create a typical friend relationship, with the joking and stuff. And for some reason, in these low-budget movies, they always turn out to be a bit off. You don't really buy them being friends. I don't know really what that is.
No, I think it's a lot to do with the actors as well, because they can't act the way they should, basically. I know it would be very awkward if we would try to do something similar. I think that would be on the same level because we're not trained actors either. So.
No, I totally buy that. But let's say that someone were recording us not with a microphone but with a camera. Would we look awkward just when we try to joke with each other like we do? Not like with a script, but just like
no.
we do.
If we do it natural, I think it looks natural.
Exactly.
But the script makes it worse.
Yeah. I think it's also bad script because they could have done something else to make it show that they are just like friends. They could have been sitting there in the car and talked about, I don't know, some kind of high school test they just did or something if they're that age. Then you were like, oh, they go in high school together, they're friends.
I think they're going for the whole thing where friends are teasing each other and stuff, but usually it just become bitching.
Yeah, but it always ends up to be. I don't want to say cringe because I didn't really feel that, but it looks off. You don't really buy it.
No, it doesn't feel genuine at all.
No, exactly. It doesn't seem real.
And there is also Klaus, the mad scientist.
Oh yeah, he's the villain, I guess.
Unless you count the shark.
But he's a crappy villain. I mean, you don't really get what the point is with him.
No.
We're going to talk more about that in the plot, but in short terms, he's the one who's creating Shark.
Yeah.
He's taking different parts from different sharks and put them together with a brain from Frankenstein, the real one from the early 40s, 50s or whenever the movie's from.
And he seems very unprovoked evil, I think, but we'll get to that too later,
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah. So
there's also the boat driver.
is he really worth mentioning?
Yes,
Actually,
because he's the best character.
I think he's the best character as well.
He is the funniest character, and he has 0 lines.
Yeah.
First of all, when they introduce him, I thought that he was just like he didn't have any lines. I didn't realize that he wasn't able to speak because of some unexplained phenomenon. But he doesn't speak at all throughout the movie.
No.
So he's
mute.
He's mute.
He only communicates with gestures.
Isn't that a weird choice to do? Why would you choose to do that as a director? Why would you choose that? Okay, I want someone to be total mute in this movie.
All I can imagine is that this guy playing this role, he was complaining so much during the shooting that the director was like, okay, new decision, you don't speak, ever.
Or maybe he is mute in real life. Who knows?
Or maybe he is such a bad actor delivering lines in comparison to the others too, That they just, okay, we want him because, well, we don't have anyone else. And
maybe he had like a really bad cold when they were shooting him. We're like, okay, we can't wait, so yeah, sorry, no lines for you.
we can't ask anyone else.
It was pretty okay, I guess.
But he communicates by doing gestures and all. He's not doing like the typical what's it called, the sign language. Sign language, yes. He doesn't do that. He just do like thumbs up, thumbs down, and he's trying to explain. I don't know. I haven't spoken so much with mute people, but I guess they try to like speak with their hands like they naturally do.
Yeah.
Not do like thumbs up or thumbs down, and then when the people don't understand that, they're like, okay, I give up.
But I actually thought it was a cool addition.
Yeah.
It
kind of stands out.
I think it's weird. Yeah, it stands out, but it's weird.
It doesn't have to be weird.
Yeah, but it is weird.
Make it weird.
Wasn't he supposed to be a guide as well?
Well, they were talking in the car that he wasn't technically a guide, he was more or less just a guy driving the boat.
Yeah, but they never speak of him being mute. I mean, if they're going to be on a boat with this guy for 6 hours, maybe they want to communicate with him.
I don't know if they try to be funny, but later when he's driving the boat and they're doing their so-called fun activities and stuff, and then when something happens, he tries to explain it with his gestures, and then they say, that doesn't sound good. They always say it doesn't sound good, whatever he's doing, and he's not saying anything. I think that was supposed to be a joke, I don't know, or they're just stupid.
I hope, for their sake, it's supposed to be a joke.
It's probably a joke.
Or when Duke talking over the walkie-talkie. If you can hear this, say something, give me a sign.
And the weird thing is that they were probably friends because they when they spoke to each other on the water.
When he spoke to him.
Yeah, when he spoke to him, it's like, are you still up for the game later on? And he just gives the thumbs up.
Yeah.
So he must have been aware of him not being able to speak, but still tried to contact him on his boat via the radio.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably a joke, but I thought it was weird. Okay, so let's move on to the plot. And this is strange because the plot is, I guess, easy to describe. It's about a mad scientist creating a shark from different sharks that attacks people. But what is the point of doing that?
I actually do not know.
I do not know.
Well,
I never understood the purpose.
No, it was weird. They kind of talk about the Frankenstein's monster thing, and that they wanted to make the perfect killer in the shark.
Yeah, but okay, so let's say that you have different kind of sharks, and you want to put a brain into that. How would different kind of sharks make the shark worse? Why not just take like the white shark or something that is like the biggest shark, put a brain inside that and keep like the rest of the body? Why just, okay, I want this fin from this shark, and I want the tooth from this shark, and I want like the big ass fin from this shark, and now I have created like the biggest shark ever.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Sure, I get why he wants the brain and heart inside of the shark, but why is he doing this? But maybe it has something to do with, after all, he has a human heart and human brain. So maybe he needs to modify some shit.
That makes even less sense that he would need to take part from different sharks to make a human brain work.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
But
and this is me, from a logical perspective, putting aside that a human brain wouldn't work at all. But I'm putting that aside. I'm not going to mention that.
In this way happened something like
I have subtle mentioned.
I agree now. Because it's like described that the Frankenstein, the heart and the brain makes you indestructible or unstoppable, whatever you say. So yeah, one would say those are the qualities that he should be after. So why not just put it in a great white shark so it becomes unstoppable and indestructible?
Exactly. Because that is the main shark.
They have already made the Jaws movie, so...
Yeah, I guess that's the main reason, actually.
Of of course, he wanted to make some sort of Frankenstein monster, but in the water. But still, it's really weird.
From a story perspective, it makes absolutely no sense.
I don't remember the Frankenstein movies, the first ones well, but at least there was a point in him building him like some nomination thing. But in this movie, it's
that can be like a rabbit hole that we shouldn't go into. But is there really a point?
I think so.
In the original Frankenstein, the point was more or less that it was this scientist that wanted to see if he could take like science to its limits and create an artificial human from like I think it was parts from corpses and
body
such.
Yeah, he took it from the graveyard, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing, that he cannot get a hold of a great white shark, so he kind of,
But he managed to get hold from lots of parts from other sharks.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he went to Japan or something and went to a place where they make shark soup. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, it doesn't make sense.
I don't think there's much to analyze here. I don't think that's an answer.
No, he wants to make a Sharkenstein. That's where we leave it. And while he was doing this, was it a test to move on, to put it into humans?
Yeah, he mentions that later.
Because so the shark is a test for him to be able to create this and make it alive and whatever and control it.
Yeah,
and then move on to human.
He mentioned that it was preserved the hearts and brains of like some of the greatest minds of the Nazi Empire, and including those of Hitler's apparently.
Yeah, because they had Hitler's brain.
Yeah, he says that they have Hitler's brain and heart, and once moving to the next stage, so they can leave sharks behind, move on to creating humans. Then they could like remake Hitler and Nazi scientists.
But this is weird because Frankenstein's monster was parts humans first, and then they make this shark just to go back to humans.
But I don't know. Maybe he wanted to try out the technology on something less dangerous first, because a human that cannot be destroyed, that has a brain from one of the great minds of the Nazi Empire. If he doesn't know exactly what happens, then it's dangerous.
I just don't see why he wouldn't shoot a monkey then, since it's kind of similar to a human. It's such a great leap to go from Frankenstein's monster to shark, and then shark experiment worked, back to humans. It's like, okay,
that's gonna be the Fallout movie. Monkey style.
Monkenstein.
Yeah, and then he subtle says that he wants to start World War III.
Yeah,
and it's really funny for me, because the Germans, it has to be the Germans that starts World War III.
Always the Germans.
Exactly. Germans is the villains of the world.
And actually, I didn't even get why.
No, he probably wants to create Germania, I guess.
Just to be evil.
But there was signs that he was like smoking pot in his little house. So.
There actually was a clear sign.
Was he related to the Nazis in some way? I mean, he was German, of course. He had that bad accent, but he was related to the scientists, though.
But he had kept the Nazi symbol on the wall in the laboratory, at least.
Yeah, but it's not really explained if he was like some kind of survivor from the Nazi during the war.
No, he can't be a survivor.
He can't.
He was too young for that.
Maybe
exactly.
He's the son or grandson of someone.
It's not really mentioned, but
yeah, that's a problem too, because then he must have gotten some sort of propaganda or something that makes him still believe that this is a thing that's capable of being done.
Yeah, but he did.
He was like the single Nazi in I don't know where they were shooting this, but in America, whatever. He was a single Nazi there, trying to create sharks, and by that create Hitler, and by that.
But he did get a hold of like the Frankenstein's brain and heart and Hitler's heart and all that. So he must have had like at least some connection to like the old Nazis, since they had it.
Yeah, well.
In any case, he was just a single guy in America.
Yeah, in a weird house on a weird island.
Were they in America, by the way?
I think so.
Yes, we don't know, but
Based on the accent on America, on the actors.
They sure as hell wasn't in Germany at least.
No, God.
it doesn't really matter. The point is that he was a single guy in a rundown laboratory. So
Is it even legal in Germany to make movies with that cross?
I'm not
No,
sure.
not in Germany.
Because they ban video games
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly.
with
Wolfenstein.
Nazi symbols.
Yeah, exactly. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move into the spoiler section, I think, because we need to talk about the effects and scenery and stuff. We should just talk shortly about what do you think about the camera work and the editing and how you were able to follow the story.
Well, I think the camera work is pretty okay. It's there are some shots that you notice like they just put the camera on the
on the ground, or
Yeah.
they were filming like different people. I don't think we're aware of it. There was this guy who was working as a
lifeguard.
Yeah, and he was standing just looking over the sea, and there was like a 10-second shot of him, and I don't think he was aware that he was in this movie.
No.
They went back to him like 3 or 4 times. So
Yeah, that was a common thing in this, that many scenes they reused exactly the same scene several times.
Yeah.
but I don't think he thought that anyone would see this. So
No, but I think the camera work overall was pretty okay.
Yeah, it was.
I can't remember anything that I went like, this is really bad or so.
No,
because you have your ways of shooting movies, but there was no shaky camera and there was no weird angles, I think. So I think it's okay. Nothing worth really talking about, I would say.
No.
And then if we go to the editing, I would say that it's pretty easy to follow the story. I mean, the story is vague itself, but that's not the editing problem. There's just the writing problem.
Yeah, but if you compare it to a story like Birdemic, like the story is very, very clear. There isn't much confusion about what's going on.
No, I mean, you mean in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty straightforward. There's a shark and it's attacking people.
Yeah.
Then they try to move the story for us to find out why and then move towards the end. So I think it's pretty okay. The only thing that's annoying about the editing stuff is that they kind of reuse the same segments all the time, and just shooting it backwards, forward, and if you are not thinking about it, maybe maybe you don't realize it.
No.
So,
But you saw that lifeguard like 3 different times, the same
with
shot.
the birds coming up, and it was the same
it's
shot.
kind of hard to not notice that.
But maybe people don't care about that.
No.
There was also a scene with this like girl just walking down the beach. They reused that 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when
And the swimming part.
Yeah, exactly. When
Yeah.
they were swimming towards the camera, that was also reused several times.
That was interesting because they used the same swimming thing for when they were swimming because they were having fun, and when they were swimming because they wanted to escape.
Yeah, exactly. They were exactly the same swimming scenes.
So that might be that we didn't pick up on that it was fun the first time when they filmed them having fun.
Exactly. But maybe that during the movie, when he realized that, okay, I want to shoot this scene where they are connecting and growing as friends or whatever, and he wants to like include that. And he didn't really have much to go on, so he chose to take the scenes from when they're escaping the shark in order for them to swim together. I don't know. It's not good, but it's not bad. I would say that it's not that. It could have been so much worse.
Yeah, speaking of worse, is it time for effects?
It's time for effects now. So we're going to talk about special effects. I want to talk about the scenery too, but let's talk about the effects, because it's really hard to know where to begin here.
Yeah,
But let's start
it's a lot to unpack.
Let's start with when they introduce the shark.
Already when they introduced the shark, I get this vibe of clip art from Windows 98.
Yeah.
But it's also not as bad as Birdemic.
No.
But it's very close.
Do you know what the difference is, I think? I think that in this movie, they chose to have like a doll or something that was like a physical thing. and they chose to film that and edit it into scenes. While in Birdemic, they were more like they were trying to create
still 2D images.
Yeah, exactly, and then move that into the picture.
Yeah.
So I think this is better. I think because I mean, if you don't have a big budget, just go with it. Because that's what I really liked in this movie is that they were very aware of it being bad effects, but they still like went on doing it. With they didn't really hold back. But this doll that they were using is like a regular shark, but they added some, stitches and stuff.
I think they just did a draw on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you vomit on the floor. You can hide it under carpet, or you can probably leave it out for people to see. And that's a thing for people to admire, actually.
So the one thing that I thought was, I mean, I guess it's a director's choice, but I didn't really like that they showed off the shark right away.
No, it's like 5 minutes in, and we already know what the shark looks like.
Because when you're looking at this bad movie, you kind of want to build up the suspense. 'Cause you know the effect is gonna suck, but you really want to hold on to that feeling. You just like wait for it to come, and when it comes, you like
the first kill comes very, very soon.
Yeah, and not subtle at all.
No, not at all.
It's not.
Really weird.
It's not the scenery, where they pull some guy down and it's like, oh fuck, there's a shark here. It's a girl sitting on the beach, sunbathing or something, and she bends over, and then a shark. Sharkenstein comes from nowhere into the shot in a millisecond.
The whole big shark lands on the shore.
It's not the head, it's not the fin, it's the whole shark into the scene, onto the beach. And it's the big shark, man. Yeah. It's like 15 meters high or something. And just bites the girl whole.
They put him that he jumps onto the shore, eats her, and jumps back in like 1 second.
Exactly.
So it looks really weird because it's really fast and really.
It really came out of nowhere because I certainly didn't think that the shark would come into view that fast and kill someone that fast.
No, I didn't think that the person walking up on the shore would be in danger.
No.
Like she wasn't near the edge of the water. She was like a few 10-15 meters up on the shore.
You're kind of expecting her to like go into the water and get killed or something, but no, they went like he's going to jump onto the beach and eat her.
But that wasn't the only weird thing that they did.
No, but that was one big weird thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a choice that you can do, but I wouldn't have done that. I mean, if you are really going for the bad effects or you don't have money for more, then you kind of want to build the effects around the shark, so you don't have to show it because it's not that good. So you try to cheat a bit. I think I would have done that instead. But sure, you can do this too. So that's the first time that the shark eats someone, and they kind of use the same sequence all the time when how the shark moves.
Yeah.
It's
pretty stiff.
Yeah, they put him on the table and they have filmed him from like 2 angles or something, and then edit him into the scenery.
I think they had like 2 animations of the shark from a few different angles and just reused those.
Yeah, it was really bad how they did it. They did the water.
Also, a fun thing is how apparently this shark is a master of camouflage because people never notice it coming, even though it's freaking huge. You're like,
this
and
is
then suddenly it's right behind them, and it's
like Megalodon.
Yeah.
If you would have Megalodon swimming behind you, you would have noticed.
Yeah,
not just because maybe of sounds or stuff, but the waves or whatever, the pressure, something.
It's like the divers who are just a few meters away from each other, and the Sharkenstein just start taking them out one by one, and the others just don't notice.
There was this scene where Duke, the Coast Guard guy, where he kind of, okay, we need to investigate this further. Let's go into the water and find him.
Yeah, so they find like 8 divers or something, and they just make them swim in the water.
Exactly. Swim around here and I will shoot you.
Yeah.
And then the shark, like they are like 1 meter from each other. And it's like that's the space between them. And the sharks kind of go like scream mode and eats one of them like in a row. And no one noticed everything.
No, it doesn't even eat all of them. It eats like half of them and then swims away. And then we never see the other 4 survivors anymore, so we don't know how they reacted or anything.
Did you find the shark?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
There's also this scene with this guy standing just fishing, and you can see these shots about how the shark is spending quite a lot of time actually swimming around him and stalking him, and he doesn't notice the fact that there's a huge freaking shark like right next to him. And then just jumps out and eats him. Oh, okay.
And that's a weird thing. How can he be so bad at acting just by standing there? He doesn't say or do anything, but you can really see in his face that, God damn, you suck as an actor.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it just was some guy standing there fishing and they asked if he could help them with a quick scene.
Yeah, but
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. So the shark jumps up and eats this fisherman, and it doesn't eat the whole body. For some reason,
it leaves the feet.
He leaves the feet, so he must have been really, really fast.
And they're still standing, so he must have like cut the rest of the body clean off so they wouldn't jiggle or anything.
Do you know the movie Ghost Ship? It's like when the string goes throughout the people in the beginning of the movie and it goes so fast so people don't realize it. That's how fast the shark is.
Yeah.
And then when they see the feet, it's a shark bite. What? How do you know?
Yeah, exactly. I would have suspected like a murder or something. Okay, we have a serial killer on this beach somewhere who is messing with us. But no, he went straight to the shark. There's a shark attack. You can see that because of reasons.
Yeah. Anyway, they realize that the shark... the main characters end up on this island where the mad scientist is anyway, after all.
Yeah, if we go to progress in the story, while the main cast, the two guys and 1 girl, they were having fun, and then eventually Coast Guard tells them you need to go back to the shore because there's a I don't even know if he says shark or anything.
No,
he says that there's something weird.
Classified.
Yeah, exactly. There's something weird going on.
Yeah.
They say no, of course, and then the boat breaks down and they swim to shore because that seems to be the best option for them.
It just happens to be the same island that the mad scientist is on.
Yeah, exactly, and there's where they meet the mad scientist. I don't know even how to find it, but they find a house, and within this house there is a secret underground passage or something made of metal doors or iron doors or whatever they said. He walks in there and they meet the mad scientist, and there is where we get the explanation of what he wants to do with the shark.
It's still not really
not clear.
It didn't help much. No.
But actually, when they get in there too, there is first the thing about the bong. They find it. So when they see a bong there, they realize that there's someone in there. So for some reason, when they made the movie, they put in the scene with a bong in the laboratory.
Isn't that a bad joke? I don't think that fits. I mean,
it's such a weird decision. They could have put in like some bread or something. Oh, someone lives here.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
no, they put in a bong. Oh,
exactly.
That's a sign someone still lives here.
And it is not. It's not a sign. It's just a sign that someone went in there at some point and smoked this thing and they went out. That doesn't mean that someone is living there.
Yeah, because they went there, then someone else could have.
Yeah, exactly. If I were to smoke something and I want to be in a secret place or so, I would go to abandoned houses. Yeah. I wouldn't go would say that I would live there.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid joke, but okay. So the mid scientist explains everything, and there is some weird stuff going on there because
he holds them at gunpoint and makes them help him create the big Sharkenstein thing.
Yeah. Can I just go in with a question here between that? Did he create 2 sharks or 1 shark?
I don't know.
I think it was 2.
I thought it was 1, but then it looks like 2, so I have no idea.
think it was 2. I think it was the first one who was right from the beginning, and then he created a new one in the lab.
That's a problem, because they only had 1 brain. They when they showed the backlash into the 40s when they stole the brain, they only had 1.
But he said that he had a lot of brains.
Yeah.
from Great Minds.
Okay, so maybe they collected more. They only showed
I think so.
Yeah, it might be a props problem that they only had one.
But that begs the question: if he could do it with like theoretically any brain and heart, then why was the Frankenstein brain and heart so special?
And wasn't that Hitler's brain?
Yeah, but I mean,
But the Frankenstein heart and brain were indestructible.
yeah, but like, so you're saying that if we create two sharks, this other shark isn't indestructible then?
I guess so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no.
So he wants to create one indestructible shark,
I have no idea.
or maybe let's move on. Let's move.
Yeah.
We will come to that.
So they electrocute the thing when it's been operated on, and then it comes back to life.
Yeah, it's just typical. You need lightning.
Yeah. Oh, it's alive! It's
Yeah,
alive!
exactly. On all those Frankenstein lines, it's alive. Whatever. Blah blah blah. But the weird thing is that they help him. There's no need for them to help him. Okay, I can understand that when you're at gunpoint, that you might do whatever he says. But then he says, "Okay, you need to help me with this," and they say, "Okay, sure." And he puts away the gun, and
He performs surgery on the shark.
exactly, there's
they
like
still help him.
several times.
Yeah.
The guy stands behind him holding a flashlight.
Yeah, smiling. He's like, "This is so nice to be involved in stuff."
It would be so easy to take him out there.
Exactly. And that's really funny.
Yeah,
He's such a bad actor that it hurts.
Yeah. But then the shark, the scientist locks them in like a room, and then the shark, he tries to control the shark with the Frankenstein brain, but it won't listen and it eats him.
Yeah.
And then it escapes, wrecks the house so the main characters can escape.
But before we move on here, let's talk about the effect where the scientist dies. I mean, it's the bad effect. Well, the shark eats him, of course. We have gotten used to that at this point. But why do they film him like doing some weird? The point is that he is supposed to be in the water, you know, floating around because the shark ate him. But instead of filming him in water, they decides to make an effect out of it where they like put water upon him standing up.
Yeah, because they like film him standing with his arms up in the air or something.
The director tells him, do some weird stuff.
And then they put water effects over that.
Why would you do that? That's a simple thing to
I
do.
don't know.
Just put him in water.
Put him in water, ask him to close his eyes or
Maybe
something.
they didn't have a waterproof camera. I don't know.
But they made some shots under the water.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's just one thing I wanted to remark on. Okay, so when they are locked into the room, the shark goes bananas.
Yeah, and he wrecks the building, and they get out, and he starts to eat more people. It's a kind of convoluted, but for some reason it chases them up on the docks, and then it jumps up on the dock alongside of them, and then the lightning starts to happen again, and thunder strikes the shark.
It's one of the best scenes.
And they say, "Oh, this is how we created him. This is going to be bad." And then it like starts evolving, growing legs and stuff and arms.
Just imagine a Pokemon evolving. That's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
A bad Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I did not expect that.
No,
No, not at all.
no, I gotta give credit for that. It really blew away my
The
expectations.
director solved the problem of why don't the people just go into the land and stay there?
Yeah.
He solved that.
It's very clever.
Yeah. Do you want to explain it, or?
I don't know. Do you mean that scene or what?
Yeah, I want a specific scene where he falls.
Well, later on when it runs amok on land, first it sees a cow, and we aren't really sure what he does to the cow, if he eats it or if he tries to have sex with it, or it's not really clear. But some villagers starts to shoot at him, and he runs away. And then later on, he finds this old woman who's apparently been a photo model or something, and her camera or a photographer. And they're they're having a photo shoot or something. And then the sharks come up, eat the camera guy, and then we think that he's going to eat the old woman as well.
Yeah, the model.
The old model.
Yeah.
I should say that first there is a shot where you can actually see the shark inspecting her body from down to her feet and then up again to her chest.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, then she falls on her back, and then he jumps on top of her, and they start having sex, I guess.
Yeah, he's raping her.
It's a very clear scene. There's no mistaking it. He's raping her. And the camera guy just keeps taking photos of her when she's getting raped.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were still taking photos, but they showed the typical the camera lens at her.
Yeah,
So
like the camera fell on the ground.
either they made like an effect of him being dead and the camera pointed towards her, or he was actually taking pictures. So
Yeah, and
it wasn't clear.
And you joked that, now he's going to rape her before it happened, and then it actually happened. We were all, what the
And
I still blame you.
And when you first joked about the shark raping the cow, I thought it was bullshit. But now that we know it's a rapist,
I also thought so too. No, it's obvious eating the cow. He can't be raping the cow. But now
He's a serial raping guy. So he went from being like a serial killer shark into raping people. Like he has a bad record, this shark.
Yeah, well.
Okay. After she's raped,
Well, they found this old church or lighthouse or whatever.
I should point out that both Coop and Skip are dead by now.
yeah.
But no one cares.
But nobody cares.
Nobody cares, but
It's so stupid deaths too. So
I was cheering every time one of those main characters died because they were so annoying.
I mean, we can talk about the things that happens in this movie, but we will never ever get done with this episode. So we have to skip some parts, and it's so stupid deaths. But god damn
it's
it,
not really worth mentioning. But by now they're dead. That's all we need.
they did. They got eaten in water in the forest.
So they find this old lighthouse, and of course there are dynamite sticks in it, and they rig the whole place to blow, and they're gonna lure the shark thingy into it and blow him up. And then to lure him in, Duke cuts his arm. If there's one thing they can't resist, it's blood. So he cuts his arm to lure the shark there. And then the girl says, you made that unnecessarily because I'm on my period.
And I call that joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
You called a lot of jokes in this movie.
Yeah, it's like you directed this thing.
I don't want to brag, but please don't put me in the credits. Yeah, so they move into the house, and Duke is trying to lure the shark with the blood. It works. The shark attacks him, and they have like this chase in the house where the shark is chasing Duke, the Coast Guard, and he's running around and he gets bitten a bit. Once again, his stupid ass effects.
Yes.
That makes it's that's logical. You don't know when he's going to eat you entirely or if he's just going to bite you a little bit. It's the same effect for both events, so you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But he gets bits in the leg.
Yeah, and then the villagers chased the shark earlier. They set the building on fire, and then they're blowing up the building, and everyone, or the shark and the Duke guy dies, and then it's supposed to be over.
Yeah, it's supposed to be over. Once again, we want to talk about the effects. I get that when the house is burning, that this shows to have an effect there because that's more of an expensive thing. Even though you could put fire on a model house or something, ignore that. But when they have like what they called,
you mean the torches?
The torches, yeah. Why do you fire effect on a torch? Why not just light the torch?
I don't know, but that villager ran around with the torch unlit for forever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was on fire and she threw it.
Yeah, but it was an effect fire. It bothered me.
It could have been a real fire.
Yeah, they shows effect on things that they can just use. It's not an expensive thing to just put some gasoline on a torch.
It must have been cheaper to just use a normal torch rather than a fire effect.
Exactly, or also saving time.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to put that effect on and you need to adjust the movements.
Anyway, so it's just a girl left and everyone else is dead, so she goes back to the dock to sit in one of the chairs for some reason, and then out of the blue, another shark pops out of the water and eats her, and then it ends.
Yeah, that was probably Hitler.
That was probably Hitler shark.
Yeah,
So, do you think there will come a second movie?
Hitler shark.
I hope they call it Hitler Shark.
Yeah, Hitler Sharkenstein.
Adolf Shark.
A German-speaking shark.
Yeah, I hope it's...
Or simply Sharkler.
That does like a Nazi salute with a Fed. Okay, so let's move on to the verdict on the movie, the rating of the movie. So, who wants to start?
I can start today.
Okay, let's start, Victor.
I'm gonna give this 2 out of 10. It's a terrible, terrible movie. But, well, I like the mute guy. I think he's the one who gives it a 2. It was really funny how scenes he were in.
It's always about grasping for hairs in this kind of movies.
Yeah, for something that makes it decent.
Exactly.
Well, the obvious flaws aside, I actually had pretty fun watching this movie. And it was pretty easy to follow. So I'm actually going to give it 4 out of 10.
For me, it's like, it's hard to review it because I usually end up getting annoyed by logical stuff and whatnot, but I'm going to ignore that now. I thought the effects were terrible, and I thought it was horrible that they chose to have effects on things like they don't need to, like the torches that I mentioned before. But I thought the camera work was good, it's okay, and the script was okay, and the editing was fine, and the story was, you weren't clear on what was happening and why it was happening, but the story was easy to follow in that point that we got information about. And I thought it was really funny, and I really liked that even though the effect was really shitty, they went ballsy. There was like, screw that, I'm going to show everything I got.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because I actually thought it was
4 out of 5.
4 out of 10. Sorry. I thought it was actually funny at points, and they were kind of unexpected, when the shark went from the water to be able to walk on land. I did not expect that, so it was funny.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I really didn't like the actors much. There were like 2 actors, the mute guy and the Coast Guard guy. I thought they were pretty decent, and the effects, of course, were terrible. But some of that terribleness was kind of funny. So I still don't think I can go higher than 2 out of 10.
Yeah, but still, it's not the worst thing we've seen.
No,
it's not.
Even though the effects might be the worst. No,
we have...
Nothing can beat Birdemic.
No.
Yeah,
you should see that movie.
they sit on that throne, yeah.
Maybe Birdemic 2 if we see that.
Yeah, because we haven't seen that yet.
No, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.